call is now being recorded.
So once again, good morning all. So in the last lecture, we have started with the second part of the chapter number 5, which is called as a plant layout. And in the previous lecture, we have discussed about the basic definitions of the plant layout and their important objectives. What are the basic definitions? So the plant layout is defined as it is an optimum arrangement of all the facilities. So whatever the facilities are available in the industry, facilities in the sense the different workers are working, different operators are working, different types of the materials we are using to prepare the products, then different types of the equipment, different types of the machines, and whatever the number of services, whatever the number of facilities are available in the industry, that all the facilities we are bringing together and maximum utilization will be taking place. That means whatever the facilities are available in the industry, we have to make their optimum arrangement, and that arrangement will be made in such way that that particular facilities, that particular whatever the facilities are provided in the industry, that will be properly utilized. If we are utilizing all those particular facilities in the proper way, then we can say that whatever the plant layout is there, that plant layout is properly designed. Once the site is finalized, whatever the location of the industry is there, it is to be finalized, then we have to focus on the second part, which is called as a plant layout. Then after that, whatever the important objectives are there, that important objectives also we have discussed in the previous lecture. So near about total 8 objectives are there. That list of the objectives are over here. To streamline the flow of the material, facilitate to the manufacturing process, maintain the high turnover, minimize the material handling, efficient utilization of the man and machine, then make effective utilization of the cubic. So like that, total 8 objectives are there that should be satisfied that particular plant layout. Now in the today's lecture, we'll discuss very important point, which is called as the principles of the plant layout. So whenever I have to design the plant layout, or whenever I have to implement that particular plant layout in any type of industry, which principles we have to consider? So these are the total 7 principles which we have to consider, and all these particular 7 principles we have to apply in the industry whenever we have to design that particular plant layout. So what is the first principle? That is principle of integration. So based on this particular integration concept, we have discussed so many things in the chapter number 2 and in the chapter number 3. So what is meant by the integrations? So in the industry, we know that there are basically 3 important inputs are there. There are so many inputs are there. So many input facilities are there, but out of that, the 3 input resources, it plays very, very important role. In that, first one is called as a man, which is called as an operator. Then second input is called as a material, and third input is called as a machine or the equipment. That means these are the 3 input important resources, that is man, machine, and the material. If these 3 inputs comes together, and if they are works in the effective manner, then we can say that the maximum utilization of that input resources will be taking place. Because without man, there is no any use of the industry, because mans are required. The material, it is very important input resources, because if the raw material is not available, then it is not possible to prepare the products. And if the standard machineries, equipments, machines are not available, then also it is not possible to convert your raw material into the finished goods. Therefore, out of number of input resources, the man, machine, and material, these are the 3 input resources which are works together. If all these three input resources comes together, and if they are works in the effective manner, then we can say that the maximum utilization will be taking place. Therefore, your first principle is based on this particular important thing, which is called as the principle of integration. Integration means if there should be the proper integration, or there should be the proper integrate between man, machine, and the material. If there is a proper integration is there between them, then and then only there is a optimum utilization of all the resources are taking place. If the mans are available but they are not working in the effective manner, automatically it will be affects on the productivity. If the mans are available and if the raw material is not available, then there is no any use of man, and there is no any use of that particular machines, because the raw material is not available. And sometimes the mans are available, material is available, but machines and the equipments are not available. In that case also, it is not possible to work in the effective manner. Therefore, there should be the proper utilization, or there should be the proper integration between the man, machine, and the material in order to get the optimum utilization of all the resources, due to which you will increase your productivity. Therefore, this is the first principle which is related to the proper utilization of man, machine, and the material. And simple things, I have to explain through this particular first principle. If there is a proper integration between the man, machine, and the material, and whatever other services are there, and this utilization should be in such way that we have to utilize all the important resources, due to which your productivity can be increases. So this is the first principle, which is called as a principle of integration. Then second principle is called as a principle of minimum distance. So this is also very important, because in the industry there are different types of the machines are available. Some machines are located at one location, some machines are located at the different locations, or some machines are represented maybe in the straight line, some machines are represented in the inclined line. So whatever the location of the machine is there, it is to be finalized as per the requirement of the product. Whatever the locations of the machine is there, whatever the sequence of machine is there, all the sequence, all the locations are to be finalized as per the requirement of the product. But whenever we are locating the machine in the industry, the distance between machine 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, it is very less. If the distance between machine 1 to 2, it is very maximum, at that time that material has to travel the maximum distance from machine 1 to machine 2. Sometimes that two machines are to be handled by the single operator only. So that operator, that worker has to travel the maximum distance from machine 1 to machine 2. So in order to avoid such types of the such type of the unnecessary distance to be traveled, so to avoid that particular situation, so whatever the distance is there between machine 1 to 2, 2 to 3, it should be minimum. Therefore, immediately once all the operations are performed on the machine number 1, immediately that material will be moved to the machine number 2, and the second operations will be start. So when this is to be possible, if there is a very less distance between the all the types of machines. Sometimes due to the machine locations, wherever the machines are to be located, the unnecessary movements of the operator is to be taking place. Unnecessarily he has to travel the long distance. Sometimes one machine is located at maximum distance. So if that particular machine is very important, so that machine should be located near to that particular operator only. So immediately he will go to that particular machine, and immediately he will perform that particular operations. Therefore, the second principle is related to the minimum distance. So you have to maintain the minimum distance between all the types of machines, all the types of locations. So immediately the travel of the material is taking place from one location to the another location. Also, whenever one operator or the single operator, if he is handling number of machines simultaneously, at that time all the important machines should be located near to that particular operator only, so he can handle all the machines immediately within minimum distance. So therefore, the second principle is related to the principle of minimum distance, which is applicable to the machines also, and the same principle is applicable to the operator, workers, or the mans also. So this is the second principle. Then third principle is called as a principle of cubic space utilization. So related to this principle, already I have explained so many things related to the objectives of the plant layout. So once again I will explain what is the cubic space utilization. We know that maximum area is available in the industry. Maybe some horizontal space is there, some vertical space is there, some space is available at the top side, then bottom side, some space is available at the left side, right side. That means maximum area is there in case of a industry. But if the area is maximum, at the time we have to take the proper utilization of that particular space. Sometimes, many times, whenever we are visiting to the various types of the industry during your industrial visit, you have observed the different types of the machines are there which are located at one space. Some another space is utilized for storing the equipment, for storing the different types of the products. Some space is utilization for the different types of the departments. So this space is utilization in the proper way. So due to which your productivity can be also increases. But sometimes whenever we are visiting to the small scale industries, so in such types of the small scale industries, some machines are located at one space. At that space only, some products are raw materials available. At that space only, some finished products are available. Means the proper utilization of the space is not taking place. And if the proper utilization of the space is not taking place, there may be possibility of accidents. At one location only machines are there. At one location only raw material is there. At one location only the finished products are there. So due to that particular situations, there may be possibility of accidents happening in the industry. So in order to avoid that particular situations, we have to use this particular third principle, which is called as a principle of cubic space utilization. Why it is called as a cubic space? Cubic means, the cube, it is having the three dimensions. Length is there, width is there, and the depth is there. So whatever the space is available in the industry, we have to utilize that particular space in all the three dimensions. We have to use the space of right side, left side. We have to use the space of top side, bottom side. The utilization of space is not possible, but maximum times, whatever the height of the industry is there, that height also we can utilize for some type of the applications. And as we know that there are some heavy duty machines are there, some heavy duty components are there. It is having the maximum size. Maximum, sometimes height is also very maximum. So whatever the height of that particular industry is there, or height of that particular space is there, that height of the space also we can utilize for installing your machines. So therefore, this third principle is related to the cubic space utilization. Don't use only right portion of the industry. Don't use only left portion of the industry. Don't use only height of that particular industry. So you have to take the proper utilization of that particular space in all respects. You have to use all the three dimensions. You have to use the X direction, we have to use the Y direction, you have to use the Z direction. In all the directions, the utilization of the space should be taking place. Sometimes what happens in some of the industries, very small space is available in the industry. So in that case, what we will do? We can increase the number of floors. At bottom floor, we can install some heavy duty machines. At the second floors, we can install some machines, those who are doing very light duty applications. At the third floor, you can use that particular third floor place for the design department, for the inspection department, for the testing department, if the less space is available. But in some of the big scale industries, the maximum space is available. So in that case, the proper utilization of the space should be taking place in the three dimensions. Therefore, the third principle is called as a cubic space utilization. And also in some of the industry, the separate locations are made. The production department is separate, then inspection department is separate, design department is separate, then store department is to be separate. Whenever we can separate the particular department, if the large amount of space is available to that particular industry. Therefore, the third principle is related to the principle of cubic space utilization. That means we have to utilize that particular space of the industry in all respect or in all directions. Okay. Then third principle is called as a principle of flow. It is very important. So once your machines are located, sometimes the machines are located as per the sequence of operations. Means first initially we have to perform the turning and the facing operation. Means at first you have to install the lathe machine. Then you have to perform the milling operations. Then at the second location you have to install the milling machine. At the third position, if you have to perform the drilling operations, at that time the drilling machine will be located at the third step. That means as per the requirement of the products, the machines are installed in the industry. But whenever we are installing that particular machine, whenever we are finalizing the sequence of operation, the material should be flow in the forward direction only. So this is the requirement. There should not be any backtracking. If the backtracking is taking place, your production time will be increases, and if your production time is increases, the production cost is also goes on increasing. So to avoid these particular situations, whenever we are finalizing the sequence of operations, whenever we are finalizing the position or location of the machines, one thing you have to keep in mind is the material should be flow in the forward direction only. There should not be any backtracking. Sometimes what happens in the industry, we are performing all the operations on machine number 1. Then it is moving to the machine number 2. Then it is moving to the machine number 3. And again from the machine number 3, again that material is coming to the machine number 1. Means the backtracking is taking place from machine number 3 to machine number 1. So such type of the situation, it should not be happen in the industry. Therefore, whenever we are designing the plant layout, whenever we are designing the sequence of operation, whenever we are finalizing the location of the machines and their sequence, this first principle we have to keep in mind, that is your material should be flow in the forward direction only. So whatever the number of operations we have to perform, we have to perform at that particular machine, and immediately that material will be or move in the forward direction only. Yes.
स्वतःचा फोटो काढा.
Please mute your side, Swami. Okay. So the first principle is very important. That is, it is related to the material should be flow in the forward direction only. There should not be any backtracking. If the backtracking of the material is taking place, the production time is increases, production cost is increases, and automatically it will be affects on your total productivity. Therefore, the fourth principle is called as a principle of flow, where the material will be moved or material should be moved in the forward directions only after performing the each and every operation. There should not be any backtracking. Okay. Then the fifth principle is called as a principle of maximum flexibility. So this is very important. Whenever we are designing the plant layout, whenever we are finalizing the locations of the machines, during that particular design, during that particular location, the flexibility, maximum flexibility should be provided, because whenever the next generation will become, whenever some advanced manufacturing processes are coming in the industry, at that time, as per the requirement of the product, we have to change the sequence of that particular product. Sometimes we have to change the sequence of the operation. Sometimes we have to change the sequence of the machines. At that time, whenever I have to go for the modification in the plant layout, whenever I have to go for the modification in the plant layout, at that time, that modification should be taking place in minimum cost and minimum time. We have to do the modification means we have to change the sequence of the machines. Lathe machines I have taken first as per the requirement of the products. First of all, I have to take the drill machine. Then I have to take the milling machine. Like that, we have to change the sequence of the machines because we have changed the sequence of the operations. But whenever we are doing the modifications in the existing plant layout, that modification should be taking place in minimum cost and minimum time. Therefore, whenever we are designing the current plant layout, whenever we are designing the current plant layout, that design should be made in such a way that in future, if I have to go for the modification, immediately the modification should be taking place. Sometimes in the industry, what happens, the current layout is to be designed, but sometimes whenever I have to go for the modifications, I have to change the location of all the machines. Total plant layout I have to change. In that case, the changing will be taking place, but whatever the cost and the time is required, that cost and time is very, very high. So to avoid that particular situations, whenever I'm designing the current plant layout, that current plant layout should be designed in such a way that the maximum flexibility we have to provide. Means once I have to go for the modification after 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, that modification will be taking place in minimum cost, minimum time, and immediately the modification will be taking place. Immediately I can change the sequence of the machines and I will start my production. Therefore, this fifth principle, it also plays very, very important role, where principle of maximum flexibility, where the flexibility we have to provide while designing the current plant layout. Therefore, in future, it should not be affects more. Okay, so this is related to the principle of maximum flexibility. Then, second last principle, that is sixth principle of safety, security, and the satisfaction. This is very important. This total principle is related to the operators, workers, or the mans only. Because whenever the operators are working, so some heavy duty applications are there, some high temperature applications are there. So whenever the operators, workers are working in such types of the departments, all the safety precautions, all the safety devices should be provided. So some high rotating equipments are there. So in such case, so the different types of the guards are to be provided to such types of the machines. Some heavy duty machines are there. So for that particular heavy duty machines, again different types of the protecting devices should be provided. Some operators are working in the temperature department, so in that case, the different safety devices like hand gloves are there, goggles are there, ear plugs are there, earphones are there, then some helmets are there, aprons are there. So all such types of the safety devices we have to provide to the workers. So along with the designing of the plant layout, as per the requirement of that particular layout, we have to provide safety and security to that particular all the types of workers. And through this, you have to satisfy their needs. So whenever that operators, workers, supervisors, they are working in that particular industry or they are using that particular plant layout, their satisfaction should be taking place. If the operators, workers are not satisfied with their work, they are under the fatigue, they are under the stress, automatically their effect will be taking place on the production. If the workers, operators are not working in the effective manner, then there should not be possibility increase your productivity, because if the workers are not working in the effective manner, maximum time there may be possibility of accident, there may be possibility of breakage of the tools. So such types of the things are arises. So to avoid that particular situation, we have to implement this principle number 6, which is related to the principle of safety, security, and the satisfaction. Therefore, we have to provide all the safety devices, we have to provide all the safety rules to the operators, to the machines also, and through which the operator satisfaction or the worker satisfaction should be taking place. So this is the 6th principle, and the 7th principle is called as a principle of minimum handling or the principle of minimum material handling. So in the industry, so many components are there. Some light duty components are there, some medium duty components are there, some heavy duty components are there. So whatever the light duty components are there, that light duty components can be handled by that particular operators or the workers only. But sometimes some medium duty, heavy duty components are there. That heavy duty components will not be handled by that particular operator. So for that purpose, so whatever the material handling equipments are there, maybe some trolleys are there, tractors are there, some trucks are available, some cranes are available. So such types of the material handling devices we have to use to handling such medium duty and the high duty components. So whatever the material will be handled by that particular operator or the worker is there, it should be minimum. Sometimes as per the requirements, sometimes if I have to take one component from one machine to the second, so in that case the equipments are not required, material handling devices are not required. So simple device, simple equipment, simple component I have to take from machine 1 to 2. So in that case the operator can be used. But wherever some heavy duty components are there or some medium duty components are there, that components should be handled by that particular operator only. So this is the last principle, which is related to the principle of minimum handling. If some heavy duty and medium duty components are to be handled by the operator, there may be possibility of injuries. There may be possibility of accidents. So to avoid that particular situations, in advance, the care should be taken. The small components should be handled by that particular operator or worker only, and remaining all the medium or the heavy duty components to be handled by using the material handling equipments, which includes trolleys, trucks, tractors, some cranes are there. So this is related to the last principle, which is related to the principle of minimum handling. So these are the total 7 principles. These are the total 7 principles which we have to implement while designing the plant layout or while using the plant layout in the industry. So you have to keep this particular all the principles in your mind whenever you are starting your industry in future. So you have to implement or you have to consider all those particular principles. So the proper utilization of all the resources will be taking place. If we will not consider all the principles while designing, in times your production cost will be increases, your production timing will be increases, maybe your inputs are increases, but your output is very less. Means automatically it will be affects on the efficiency of your industry or the productivity of your industry. Therefore, design of the plant layout and their implementation in the industry, it is very important. And during that particular implementation and during that particular designing of the plant layout, we have to consider These 7 principles, if we will consider all these particular 7 principles, utilization of all the resources will be taking place in the effective manner, and at the end, the productivity of your industry is also goes on increasing. So these are the 7 principles of the plant layout. Based on these particular points, again there is some MCQ based questions are there for your examination. So you have to keep this particular all the 7 principles in your mind. Based on this, the MCQ questions will be asked in your final examination. So this is related to the principles of the plant layout. Then now we'll discuss about the types of layout. So which types of the layouts are used in the industry? There are so many industries are there. Small scale industries are there, medium scale industries are there, some big scale industries are there. So which types of layouts are used for which types of industry, that we are going to discuss now. Therefore, the next point is related to the type of layouts or the types of layout. So basically there are 4 types of the layouts which we are going to study in this particular chapter, and mostly these 4 types of layouts are mostly used in the various types of the industry as per the requirement of the product. Sometimes we have to manufacture the products in mass. That means we have to take the mass production. If we have to take the mass production, which types of the layouts we have to utilize? Sometimes we have to manufacture one heavy components. Maybe sometimes we have to build the ship. Sometimes we have to build the aeroplanes. Sometimes we have to manufacture some heavy duty components or the heavy duty machines. So in that case, we are manufacturing the single product only, but it is very heavy. So in that case, which types of the products we have to manufacture? Sometimes we have to work in the grouping manner. Then which types of the layout we have to use in the industry? That all the types of layouts now we are going to discuss in this particular chapter. So what is the first types of layout, which is called as a functional layout? The functional layout, it is also called as a process layout. So the functional layout, it is also called as a process layout. Then second layout is called as a product layout, which is also called as a line layout. Then third layout is called as a fixed position layout, and the fourth is called as a group layout, or it is also called as a cellular technology. So group layout, it is also called as a cellular technologies. So these are the basically 4 types of the layouts which are mostly used in the various types of the industry as per the requirement of the product. Which types of products we are manufacturing in that particular industry as per the requirement of the product. First of all, we have to finalize the type of layout. According to that particular type of layout, we have to set the sequence of operation. After that, we have to set the sequence of machines, and then we'll start the actual production in that particular industry. So these are the 4 layouts. In detail, we are going to discuss all these particular layouts. So the first layout is called as a process layout, which is also called as a functional layout. So please keep in mind, these words are very important. The functional layout, it is also called as a process type of layout. So the figure is represented for this particular process layout. You can see. So what is that particular layout? This layout is recommended for the batch production. So you know the difference between the mass production and the batch production. So mass production means whatever the number of products we are manufacturing in mass. That means in one day we are manufacturing the 1,000 products. In one day we are manufacturing the 2,000, 3,000. So like that, if we are manufacturing the products, then that particular production is called as a mass production. Then what is meant by the batch production? The batch production means we are manufacturing the product, but it is in very small quantity. Similar type of the products we are manufacturing at one location. Similar type of the products we are manufacturing at one location only. So that particular concept or that particular layout, whatever I am utilizing, so that particular layout is called as a process layout. So you can see in this particular figure, the machines performing the similar operations are grouped together at one location only. Those machines, those who are performing the similar type of operations, so you can see in the figure at one point. So this is the one location where all the milling machines are to be located at one location only. So in this particular compartment, only milling machines are to be available. All the types of milling machines are available. So whatever the number of milling operations we have to perform, all those particular milling operations will be performed in this particular compartment only. Then second, this is called as a lathe machine compartment. So whatever the number of operations we have to perform by using the lathe machines only. So in that particular lathe machines also, some heavy duty lathe machines are available, some small duty lathe machines are available. So all the such types of the lathe machines are to be grouped together at this particular second location only. So whatever the number of operations we have to perform by using the lathe machines. So all the operations, sorry, all the products we have to take in that particular lathe machine compartment, and all the operations we have to perform in that particular lathe machine compartment only. Then if I have to go for the welding operation, then here the separate compartment is provided. For example, third compartment, it is to be provided, which is called as a welding shop. So whatever the number of weldings are available, some TIG welding is there, MIG welding is there. So whatever the number of welding machines are there, all those particular welding machines is to be provided at this particular third location only. Then grinding. So at the end, when your product is to be manufactured, at the end we have to perform some grinding operations. Whatever the sharp edges are available, so you have to remove that particular sharp edges by using that particular grinding operation. So whatever the number of grinding machines are available, all those particular grinding machines are to be provided at one location only. That means we have to take all those particular products in this particular grinding compartment simultaneously. I can perform all the grinding operations on all the types of products. Then next compartment is given for the inspection. Whenever I have to go for checking the dimensions of all the types of machines or all the types of products, so I will take all those particular products in the inspection department. I can check their dimensions in the form of their length, diameters. So whatever the number of dimensions are available. Then the separate compartment is provided for the assembly purpose. Means at different locations we are manufacturing the different types of the products, and at the end what we are doing, we are taking all those particular products at one location, and at this particular assembly portion we are doing the assembly. Then painting. When after the assembly, whenever we have to go for the painting of that particular product, we can perform the painting operations, we can give the proper paint, and all this particular painting operation can be performed at this particular region. And at the end, whatever this compartment is provided, this is called as a shipping and the receiving. Shipping means we are shifting all that particular raw materials to all the types of compartments, and at the end, at the same location only, we are receiving your final products. So this, if such types of the layouts are to be provided in the industry, so this particular layout is called as a process layout, or it is also called as a functional layout, in which all the similar type of machines are to be grouped together at one location only. All types of lathe machines are provided at one location. All types of milling machines at one location. All the welding machines at one location. All the grinding machines at one location. Whatever the assembly we are taking place, that assembly also taking place at one location. That means this particular layout is suitable for the batch production only. Once 100 products are available, we can take that particular 100 products in milling compartment. On that 100 products, we are performing all the milling operations. Then we are taking that particular product, all the 100 products in the lathe machine compartment. We are performing all the important operations by using the lathe machines. Then we are taking that particular all the 100 products in welding. We are performing all the welding operations on that 100 products. Then we'll perform the grinding machines. Then we'll perform their inspection. We are checking the dimensions of the 100 products. Then we'll take all these particular products for the painting purpose or whenever assembly is required. And at the end, your final product is ready. So this particular layout is called as a process layout. Means all the products, all the 100 products, 50 products, we are taking to their respective compartments, and simultaneously all the milling operations will be performed on all the 100 products. Once all the milling operations are over, I will take that particular lot to the lathe machine. Again, I will perform the operations by using the lathe machine. Then I will take that particular lot in the welding. Then I will take in the grinding. Then I will go for the painting, and at the end, your final product is ready. So if such types of the layouts we are implementing, then that particular layout is called as a process layout, or it is called as a functional layout. So here the mass production is not taking place. Only some limited components are there. That limited components we are taking to the respective compartment, and we are performing the operation. Sometimes for some of the products, the lathe operations are not required. Some of the products, the lathe operations are not required, grinding operations are not required. Only I have to use the milling compartment and the welding compartment. So at that time, I will not move to the lathe compartment on the grinding compartment. Directly, I can take that particular product in the milling machine. I can perform the milling machine. After milling, I can perform the welding operation, and immediately I can take that particular component for the painting purpose, and finally your product is ready. So therefore, this particular layout is called as a process layout or the functional layout. As per the requirement of that particular product, the components can be taken to the respective department or the respective locations, and we can manufacture it. Therefore, basically, this particular type of layout is very important for the batch production. In batch, 20 products I have taken initially, 20 products operations are performed. Then next batch is coming, remaining 40 products are coming. Like that, batch production will be taking place. So maximum time, whatever the small scale industries are there or medium scale industries are there, in such types of the industries, this process layout plays very, very important. Then we'll discuss about the advantages and the disadvantages. So each and every layout, it is having some advantages, it is having some disadvantages also. So what is the first advantage you can see? The flexibility of equipments and the personnel. So whatever the equipments are provided, maybe lathe machine is there, milling machine is there, grinding machine is there, welding machine is there. In that, the maximum flexibility is there. So there are different types of the machines are available, different types of the grindings are there, different types of the lathes are there, different types of the milling machines are there. Means flexibility is there. We can use any type machine at any time. Once you are enters into the milling machine compartment, we can perform all the types of milling operations because all the types of milling machines are available in that particular compartment. Personnel means whatever the operators are there, the operators are also available. Sometimes all the milling machines are to be handled by the 2-3 operators, or sometimes if 100 milling machines are available, so 100 milling machines are to be handled by the 100 operators also. So it depends upon that particular industry. Okay, so therefore flexibility in the equipment and the personnel is there. Lower investment on account of compared to less number of machines and the lower general purpose machine. So very less investment is there. In case of the batch production, sometimes some small industries are there in which only 2 lathe machines are there, only 2 welding machines are there, 2-3 grinding machines are there, 1 milling machine is there. So machines are available in very less quantity. That means very lower investment is required for this particular process type of layout or the functional layout. Higher utilization of the production facilities. Higher utilization will be taking place. At one compartment, we are providing milling, then at second lathe machine, then welding machine, then grinding machine, then inspection is taking place, then assembly is also taking place. At the end, we are doing the painting. That means higher utilization of the production facility we are taking place in the small compartment only. Therefore, whenever we are visiting to the any type of workshop, whenever we are visiting to the any type of small scale industries, whenever we are visiting to some fabrication unit, you can see the locations, or we can see the fabrication unit. In the fabrication unit, only 1 lathe machine is available, 2-3 drilling machines are available, 2-3 grinding machines are available. That means higher utilization will be taking place in the production facility. Then greater flexibility with regards to the work distribution to the machines and the workers. So the greater flexibility is there also in that particular production. If you have to change the location of the lathe machines, immediately we can change it. If you have to change the location of drilling machine, grinding machine, welding machine, see, immediately it should be taking place. So at that time, this process layout is very useful. Variety of the jobs makes the job challenging and the interesting. So this particular process layout, the variety of the jobs can be manufactured. Batch number 1, your product is totally different. Whenever the batch second is coming, the type of product will be different. When the third batch is coming, again the type of product will be different. That means variety of the jobs can be manufactured by using this particular process layout. Then supervisor will become highly knowledgeable about the function under the development. If we are manufacturing the number of products by using the process layout, your knowledge is also goes on increasing. Therefore, supervisors will become highly knowledgeable. As we are manufacturing the different types of the products, means we are applying the different types of the knowledge while designing that particular product. Therefore, that supervisor, that worker, it becomes very knowledgeable. So these are the advantages, but there is some disadvantages also taking place. Backtracking and the log movement may occur while handling the material. So whenever I have to take the components from one location to the another location, sometimes the maximum distance we have to travel. That means long movement will be taking place in case of a material also, or in case of a operator also. So such types of the disadvantages are taking place in the process layout. Sometimes the backtracking is also taking place. We are performing all the operations on the lathe machines, then we are moving to the milling operation. But by mistake, some lathe operations are remaining. And we are observing that some lathe operations are to be remaining. So what we are doing, again, we are taking that particular products from that particular milling location to the lathe location. That means the backtracking is taking place. So such types of the situations are happening in the process type of layout. The material handling cannot be mechanized, which adds the cost. Material handling. So whatever the components we are handling, that is to be handled by the operator, or we are using some trolleys and the tractors. So basically this particular layout is mostly applicable for the small scale industry. Therefore we are not using the tractors. Simply we are using the trolleys only to take that particular component. So in that case, the material handling cannot be mechanized. So here we are not using the material handling equipment because we are manufacturing very small components, and it is to be handled by the operators only. And in that case, your cost will be increases. Process time is prolonged, which reduces the inventory turnover and increasing in the inventories. So process time, whatever the time is required to convert your raw material into the finished goods by using the process type of layout, that time is very high, and it reduces your inventory, and automatically your turnover is also goes on decreases. Therefore, the process type of layout, it is very costly as compared to the another types of layout. Production planning and control is very difficult. Production planning and control. So here we are not converting your raw material by making the production planning and the control, because we are taking all the 100 components. We are taking total batch at one compartment. Then we are taking to the second compartment. Then we are taking to the third compartment. So in that case, the proper production planning should not be taking place. By mistake, if one product is remaining to perform the lathe operations, and we are taking to the milling operations. So what we have to do, again, you have to take that particular component from milling operation to the lathe machines. We have to perform all the lathe operations, and then again you have to take to the milling compartment. So such types of the planning will not be taking place by using the process layout. Therefore, there should not be any production planning and the control, which is very difficult in this particular process layout. More space is required. So whenever I have to take, or if I have to implement 100 number of lathe machines, if I have to locate 20 milling machines, if I have to locate the 10 drilling machines or the welding machines, so at that time the more space is to be required. So as per the requirement, if 2-3 machines are available, no problem. In 2-3 machines also we can implement, but maximum times if the number of batches are coming, number of products are coming again and again, at that time the more number of machines are required. If number of machines are increases, automatically your space is also goes on increasing. And if your space is increases, your production planning should not be taking place, backtracking is taking place, long movements will be traveled by the operator, long movement will be traveled by the material handling, your productivity goes on decreasing. So at the end, all these particular disadvantages will be effects on the productivity. Therefore, these are the major advantages, and for each and every layout, it is having some advantages, it is having some disadvantages. So as per the requirement of the product, we have to design that particular layout. Sometimes for that particular design layout, some disadvantages are also there, but we cannot change the layout. As per the requirement of the product, we have to keep that particular process layout as it is, but we cannot change the layout. So therefore, some unnecessary things are there, which are also effects, due to which some disadvantages are also taking place in that case. So these are the different types of the advantages and disadvantages of the process layout. But through this particular figure, we can easily understand that for which types of the application the process layout we are using. Therefore, you have to keep one word in your mind whenever I have to go for the batch production. at that time we have to use the process layout only. That means in 3 hours we have to manufacture the 100 products. That means one batch is prepared. After that, the second batch is coming. Again, you have to perform the same operation. Again, the third batch is coming. Fourth batch is coming. Like that, in batch productions, if you have to prepare the product at that time, this process layout and the process layout or the functional layout we are utilizing in the industry. And this layout, it is having some advantages and disadvantages also. That advantages and disadvantages also we have discussed in the today's lecture. Okay, so again, some another types of layouts are there, that is product layout is there, then fixed position layout is there, then group technology is there. So these are again 3 types of layouts is there. So that 3 types of layouts were discussed in the next lecture. Okay, so with this particular first type of layout, process layout, today we will stop here. The remaining types of the layouts we will take in the next lecture.